Is very unfair to take a snippet, I don't know how many characters that is, and say, okay, we're going to take this clip and this is what she meant, right? We have no beginning, we have no end, we don't know what the context was.
I mean, this tweet says pedophilia is a cornerstone of Islam.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's me. I would never have said that.
She said that. She said that, and when confronted with her own words, as Kathy Barnett, who wants to run for the Senate in Pennsylvania, she is a contender. She actually was confronted with her own hatred, her own bias, her own bigotry, and obviously just denied that was her own bias. That was her own typing. That was her own Twitter account. That was her own bigotry. And she's doing the same thing. Last night she was on with Bret Baier, who confronted her about being at the march on January 6th and marching with the Proud Boys. NBC actually confirmed that she was marching with the Proud Boys. And when Bret Baier confronted her, she said, I was not marching with the Proud Boys. I was just there to see the president. That's all I was doing. I deny that, that photo is, a photo showing anything. I mean, these are the people that we have vying for high political office in this country. I'm telling you, the amount of corruption that allows for people not to be vetted by one of the great parties of the American, two-party system is bizarro world. And it's obvious that the money in this country, the corporate money, the billionaire money, the self-interested money, the big money in this country, the kind of money that Ted Cruz is willing to lend himself big money, knowing that on the back end, they will repay him large amounts of cash, knowing that he is now in a position to wield his power for their benefit, for their self-interest, for their issue, for their, piece of legislation that maybe they even wrote, and hand it to him and said, you're a yes vote, and I will repay your loan to yourself, enriching you financially. Quid pro quo. All I could tell you is that we're in a country where I could promise you that whatever is good for Ted Cruz is not good for America. That's kind of where we are. That is the tipping point, that we have a group of people who want to pick the most ill-equipped, the most bigoted, the most heinous, the least grounded, the least able to solve our problems types in order to hold high office for their own particular benefit, for their own tax breaks, for their own desire to pollute, for their own desire to, not be regulated, for their own desire to own everything in this country in a marketplace, to have, here we are sitting here saying, oh, well, we have like 5 media companies in this here, nation of ours. Yeah, well, they won't be happy until we have one. We have 6 people, or 4 people in the meat processing business. Well, we won't be happy until we have one. We have one company that supplies all the basic stuff for baby formula. Well, that's a good result. And look what it produces for ordinary Americans. Shortages and tainted, and we have to import now, and the president has to get involved in commerce issues that he shouldn't have to get involved in, simply because we have too few hands in the cookie jar. We have too few people, toiling to make things that are essential to our life. And this is by design. So I want you to understand which party is at the Supreme Court saying it's not corrupt enough. It isn't corrupt enough that, $300 million goes towards choosing the next Supreme Court justice. It's not corrupt enough that it takes $1 billion to be the president of the United States. $1 billion. Why does it take any dollars to be the president of the United States? if you have the best ideas and if you have the ability to travel this country and you have the ability to attract a crowd and you have why should money even be a thing? Because of media. You have to buy that. And there's too many places that you have to spend money in media. We would like it just to be one-stop shop. It's so reprehensible. It's so corrupt. It's so dangerous. And it's really going to lead to the place where you don't get to go to the ballot box. You have to go to the ballot box with a check, and the bouncer and the velvet ropes keep you out unless you can actually, charm the bouncer or pay the bouncer or do something, to get to this is so suppressive. This is so regressive. This is so unbelievably un-American. It has nothing to do with democracy. It has everything to do with oligarchy. It has everything to do with, a kleptocracy. It has everything to do with stealing the room. Okay, that was a Frank Zappa reference for those of you who don't know. I'm stealing the towels. I'm stealing the room. All right, Cynthia in California.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Listen, I've been watching you since you first started broadcasting on the radio when Bush was president. Been listening to you. I think you're fantastic. And we agree on everything. It's the oligarchies, the non-regulations. We need regulations so bad. It's like genocide.
It is.
Without safety.
Or yes, it is.
And
or freedom.
It's
freedom.
They're psychological war.
They're literally coming to take away, and they have come to take away rights to vote, rights to privacy, rights.
And it's a cult.
Listen, it's more than a cult. It's a tactic. Okay, it's strategy. And the strategy is that, a three-legged stool can't stand. A house divided can't stand. It's all of that. And so it pits one American against the other when we all want the same thing.
And that's presuming that greed is a permanent disorder in people's minds.
Well, I don't know. I mean, listen, greed is what, it got the people to be billionaires in the first place. It's, behind every great fortune is a great crime. Greed will actually allow you to do terrible things. I mean, if you have to run people off their land, if you have to murder people, if you have to disappear people, if you have to remove people, that's greed. But the ordinary Joe, the average, everyday, workaday American, we all want the same thing. So how in the world do they get us to not want the same thing? They give you a different issue depending on how loyal you are to them. They give you all kinds of issues that tear us limb from limb. Whether it's, religious issues, whether it's gender issues, whether it's racial issues.
Or colonizing Mars.
Whatever the issue is, trust me, they have no interest in solving it. They just have an interest in dividing us over it.
So we're the Badlands now. It's an environment that's just the Badlands. People, you go out in the street and, hey, let's have a gun battle.
Yeah, let's solve our problems that way. One American against the other. Let's do that. While they steal the room. Don't have time to listen to a live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.